Hi, and welcome to the Piper Rose brand walkthrough. So what we're going to do today is walk you through everything you need to do to customize this logo for yourself, for your brand. So the first thing we're going to do is just explain the difference between the primary logo and the secondary logo. Basically, this is the logo. The primary logo is always the logo that you're going to reach for first. It's the one that you're going to use most often throughout your branding. And this is the one that is the favorite, basically. This is your favorite child. This is the one that you're going to want to use with everything. But there are some instances where this logo just won't work. And sometimes you're sponsoring an event and they require a more stacked look, or you just need a more stacked look. Maybe you want to use this as your favicon for your website, those little icons that are on the website tabs. Or maybe you want to use this as your submark for your social media. Maybe this is going to be going on your social media and this primary logo is too long. It doesn't fit neatly into a nice little corner. It's too distracting on social media. So you'd prefer to use this stacked version. So basically this is your favorite and this is your backup. So if all else fails, you use your stacked logo or your secondary logo. So the first thing we're going to do is make sure that we are massively in love with our primary logo, which means that you're going to want to change out the name, obviously, to your own name. So we're going to go ahead and do that, and I'm just going to use Sarah Jones. Now you can use lowercase, but because it was an uppercase design, if your name doesn't fit in the box, just simply stretch it out. And then when you're done stretching it out, you can position it so it's not, so nothing is covered up. So I'm going to move Sarah around because I didn't like that she was covering up the bottom of the J. I want people to be very clear. I want them to be able to read Jones very clearly. So I'm even going to adjust the slant on this just slightly. So this is something that you want to look out for when you're putting your own name in here. Depending on how it sits over your last name, you might need to make some adjustments, and that's just a matter of moving it around. So I'm just going to place it where I think it looks great, and I think that looks fantastic. And then I'm going to take the designation and move it down a little bit. Now, I want to bring to your attention that you might not, if you're Canadian, you can't use the word realtor as your designation, so you might need to put in sales representative. So I'm going to go ahead and do that now and show you what you can do if it's a little bit longer designation. So we're just gonna position it. I'm hitting Control on my keyboard right now so that I can move it around without it snapping into place like it does on Canva. Okay, and that looks pretty good. I'm just gonna move it a little bit closer so that it looks like one cohesive logo, and that looks really great to me. So that's how I'm gonna leave that. And now, the next step to making this logo your own would be to just change the colors. If you're not digging these colors, that's totally fine. We actually have an article on our blog on how you can go about choosing your own colors for your brand. So if you want to check that out, it's on fourthstreetcreative.com, and you just head over to the blog section and you'll find an article there that is talking about how to choose your own brand colors. So once you have your brand colors picked out, or if you already do, or if you want to play around with the color, you just head over to the color panel and then start playing around. So you can either go to new color here and just move around, slide this up and down to all the different colors and choose a color that you like. And then you're going to want to change the background color to match. And because I chose this mustard color, I think I'm going to go with an earthy gray, almost like a, maybe, let's do that. That needs to be lighter because you're losing the name on top. So I'm just going to bring it up to make it lighter and over a little bit. So we lighten it up, and that looks really good. So, well, might not look good to you. You might want to leave it the same color that we had it originally, but I'm just showing you how you can change these out. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to make this a more modern look, because if you wanted to make this a more modern logo with a very simple color, I just want to show you how easy it is to do that. So you're just going to play around with different grays. So if you want to just make this a very versatile, easy logo that you don't need to put much thought into, and you don't want to go and hunt down the perfect color palette for your brand yet, you can do exactly this. You choose a darker gray for your first name and a lighter gray in the background, and then you change the sales rep to match the first name, and you are good to go. This is the simplest way to do things. You don't have to put in a lot of thought or effort. Gray on gray always looks amazing no matter what you put it on. So if you just want something simple and fast and you want it chic and simple, fast, go, this is it. So now, once you're done your primary logo and you're happy with it, you want to head on to your secondary logo and match the styles perfectly. So I'm just going to, first of all, of course, change the name, and then change the initial. And now I'm going to change the color to the color that we chose, and change this color to the lighter gray, I think it was that one, and then this to the darker gray. And I'm going to change this to sales rep to show you. Now I have a feeling this is not going to look great, because it's too long and it's actually competing with the logo. So what I'm going to do here, did I spell this wrong? Sales representative. Yeah, that's right. Okay, so I'm going to shrink this quite a bit because I don't want it to detract from the logo. And because Sarah's getting a little bit lost here, she's kind of in the way, I'm going to move her around just a bit, so that I can move sales rep up a bit, and we're good to go. That looks pretty good. You always have the option, because if you're using this as a submark on your social, you could ditch this altogether, so you could just delete that box. But if you're happy with that, then leave it like this, and then your secondary logo is done. You can then move on to your submarks, which are a little bit more complicated, but still easy enough to do, and they are completely optional because, as I said, you can always use your secondary logo almost like a submark if your intent is to just use it on social media. So let's move on to submark number 1. This is a design that we created outside of Canva. So when you are designing your submark, you might not want to use this. We designed a brand called Piper Rose, and we used a rose. You might not want to use a rose. So you head over to Elements, and here's where you would type in flower. Now I'm guessing because you did get this brand, you liked the flower feminine look of it, so we're going to stick with that for the purpose of this tutorial, but please remember that you can use any icon that you want. You just have to find it and type it in here and then find it. If you have a pro account, you're going to have a lot more options, but I'm just going to stick with the free, just in case you just have a free account. And I'm going to show you how simple it is to switch out these images. So I'm going to grab the image that I want and place it onto the canvas. I'm going to move this out of the way for now. Okay, and let's say that this is the icon that I wanted. I just place it where I like, and then I'm going to head over here and change the color to the colors that I've chosen. And I'm going to change this to Sarah Jones. Add a little space in between so that, why is this doing that? Add a little space in between so that it adds a little bit of breathing room. And I'm going to make this the lighter color this time, just so that the flower itself sticks out. And this, I'm going to show you what to do with that after, so I'm just going to leave it here for now. And once you're happy with how this looks, then you're good to go. So it's really easy to change the elements in Canva. You just have to head over to the Elements tab and choose your own. And there are so many options here. So when it comes to flowers, like there's even a similar one to what we did. So you can actually just take that one and change it, change the color. If you are happy with the one that we've designed, I'm just going to put this back here. Okay, if you're happy with the one that we've designed, then there are some tricks to change the color. So if you have your own color palette and you want to match the color perfectly, then I suggest you head over to the tutorial section on the website and find the tutorial that says how to change PNG colors online. And then you can grab the file that we've created, that we've given you in your zip folder, and you can go about the tutorial using that file. There are some tricks that you can use. So because we're doing grayscale right now, I'm going to show you that you can just go to adjust. You can adjust the brightness and the contrast until you have a color that matches almost matches the effect that you're looking for. So if this is something that I was going to use for social media, for example, this would look great, and it's so close to this that it's not, you can't tell from the naked eye, you can't tell. So that's an easy way. If you're looking for easy and fast, this is an easy, fast way to adjust. You can also head over to effects and then choose color mix. And when you're in the color mix section, you can actually choose a color that's close to the one that you've chosen for your brand. So let's say it was purple. Then you would head over to adjust, and you can actually adjust the brightness and contrast and saturation until you get something extremely close to the color that you've chosen. Again, you always have the option to do it perfectly by taking the file that we've given you, uploading it online, and changing the color that way. But this is just a really, really easy way to get this ready and out into the world as quickly as possible. So now I'm just going to make sure this is centered. Okay, so now that we're done submark number 1, it's time to move on to optional submark number 2. So basically what we're doing here is we're adding another option that you can use in different marketing. So when would you use submark number 2? Well, it's an option. So you can either use this one, or you can either use this one. And it is completely up to you when and where you use that. So if you would prefer to have this as something that you're using throughout your marketing all the time, then you can go ahead and do that. You just have the additional option to use this when you see fit. So the first thing we're going to do is obviously change these to match your own name, and the colors to match the brand. I'm going to use the lighter gray and the lighter gray. And then this guy, I'm going to change into the dark gray by heading over to adjust, reducing the brightness, reducing the contrast, reducing the saturation. And that looks good. Moving it over slightly, and then you just adjust it. Now, something that I am going to offer you as an option is that you can always eliminate these altogether and just use the icon that you've chosen, which looks really good over a social media post. And before we finish this tutorial, I'm just going to show you how that would look. So when we do the white version, which is in another tutorial, you can head over to the tutorial section to see how we're going to edit the white versions. You just, sorry, let's change this to white. Just changing it to white like this. And then this is how you would use it on social media. You can just drop it into a corner, and then that would be your icon. So it becomes recognizable. People know that this is a Sarah Jones post just by looking at the icon that you've chosen here. So that's basically how you would use your submarks. I'm just giving you a way that you would use this in real life. Okay, so once you're happy with your primary logo, with all the logos, what you're going to do is one by one hit Command A on your Mac or Control A on your PC, and it will highlight all the boxes here. And then you want to Command C, which copies it, or right click copy. And then you're going to head over to your brand board, which is just in another tab on your computer. Open that up. And then I'm going to delete all this in the first box and pop that in, and then resize it by dragging the corners. And once this is resized, then you have your new logo on your brand board, and it looks really great. and you're good to go. So you do that with all of the logos that we create. You're going to hit Command, you're going to copy all the elements and then bring them into the brand board, and then change your color palette, of course. There's an entire tutorial on the brand board, so I'm not going to go into too much detail, but that's just how you put that first element in there. Now let's head back over to your design space, and we are going to download your files, and you want to download them in different versions just in case you need to send them to a graphic designer in the future. You want to have different versions. So you definitely want a transparent version, so we're going to download a PNG file. We're also going to want to download a PDF print file and a JPEG file. And once you've downloaded those three, you are good to go to the next tutorial, and make sure that you have a white and black version.